And you're saying, where am I going to find that expected EPS? Uh, Most publicly traded firms, except the microcaps, have equity analysts that cover them. One of the jobs of these equity analysts, in addition to giving you recommendations about whether you should buy it, sell it, what have you, is to make forecasts of earnings in the short term. For example, if you go to analysis tab, yahoofinance.com, I mean, they even uh, currently out of 30 analysts, out of 21 analysts, seven are buy, I think one or two or four is strong buy, and 10 is hold. Hold means if you have it, keep it. If you don't have it, don't touch it. And they have a target price of about 140, but they also have estimates. So for the fiscal year that's going to end at the end of 2024, these analysts are expecting that earnings are going to be $8.06, but 1 year ago it was 151. So EPS obviously does not stay the same. In fact, in 2025, they expect even more growth, 976. Looking at Eli Lilly, uh, they expect 1641 compared to 632 last year, $23 year after that. If you know what they're talking about, if you go to statistics page, you can find a forward PE. Okay, I'm not exactly sure how Yahoo Finance calculates that. For the purposes of teaching about it, I'm going to use it. But if you use it for actual equity analysis, make sure you find out how they calculate it, or you calculate it yourself if you have access to all quarterly numbers. And let me see. Using financeyahoo.com, FP is for Lilly, 41, and for Merck, 1115, 1155. So the decision does not change that much, but as a kind of exercise for yourself, I want you to do the same thing for Microsoft and NVIDIA. If you did that based on trailing PE, Microsoft seems to be a better choice. Based on forward PE, NVIDIA is a better choice. Why NVIDIA is expected to grow much faster? Now, the second problem with trailing PE, or in this case, forward PE, that it looks forward only for 1 year. Sometimes people calculate 2 year forward PE. Which we're not going to do, but more commonly used uh, measure is the PEG ratio. Generically, PEG ratio is some sort of PE measure. I mean, I personally would use forward PE divided by estimated average growth rate for the next 5 years. It's kind of it's somewhat of an imperfect measure, but if there are big differentials in the estimated growth rates of the firms, it does make a correction. So for Lilly, uh, growth rates, and you can find that under analysis tab in financeyahoo.com at the very bottom. And they're expected to grow about 73%. And for Merck, it's even higher, 85%. So if I wanted to calculate PEG for myself, I like using the forward P or Eli Lilly. It's going to be 40.49 divided by 73. You don't use the decimal for that. You just use the number. For Merck, it's even smaller. Okay. Now, the interpretation is a little bit different, but the way you need to think about that is just like P ratio. If a peg for a firm is lower, it is cheaper. That's kind of the idea. In my own analysis, I never use peg. I use something I call growth adjusted P ratio. Uh, its construction is a little bit too complicated for this class. Do I have any finance majors here? You guys are going to take investments class. If you end up taking the face-to-face one, I'll be teaching that. In fact, I'm going to cover that over there. Or in my portfolio management class, I do that too. Uh, I kind of use the interpretation of PE, how long it's going to take you to recover your investment. So using 1 year and 5 year growth expectations, I kind of say, and some assumption about reverting to the economy-wide growth after that, how long it's going to take you to recover your investment. That's how I calculate growth adjusted PE. I also have a version of that accounts for time value of the money. For example, if I'm calculating a PE as some sort of payback period, the payback period itself assumes $1 in 5 years is the same thing as $1 now. We obviously know that's not the case. So you can have a discounted PE in a sense, but not all firms have same discount rates. And if I'm comparing Disney and Netflix, Netflix is going to be a riskier choice compared to Disney. So I would discount future expected earnings of Netflix at a higher rate than Disney. Sometimes some of that differential in the forward PE or PEG or whatever can be attributed to those uh, differences. I mean, let me show you another example. Let's use Love, which is Southwest Airlines and Delta Airlines. For Delta, forward P 635, peg ratio is 39. For Southwest, forward P is 25, peg ratio is 135.